I do have a lot of questions. One, what would you tell black youth? Because my son is 7, and he was out there also due to the Mike Brown incident, leaving the body out there for hours, 4 to be exact, hot sun, bleeding, melting, skin burning to the concrete. So my son goes to Cloak down the street, and he's afraid to walk home because he thinks the police gonna shoot him. So I have to go get my baby every day after school to make sure, because he's terrified. He's terrified of officers. So what would you tell a 7-year-old child, little boy that witnessed a body laying in the street for 4 hours in the heat, hot, sweating, bleeding, shot up and everything? What would you tell a little boy, a 7-year-old child? What would you tell him? How can you make this right for our kids? I don't even have nothing else to say.
You want to fix something, start by going into the community and helping somebody, paying somebody bills. Stop telling us at 10 o'clock we got to go in because it's curfew because you give us somewhere to stay. That's slavery. I ain't got to go in. I'm 30-some years old. Why I got to go into my doggone house? I pay my rent at doggone 10 o'clock at night. What about the working, paying citizens? Some of us can't even walk down the street. We ain't chose to live in a ghetto. The ghetto chose us when you made us the ghetto. We ain't the ghetto. We are a community. Just like that out in St. Charles, look like a community. We're a community too. We just don't have the resources like that out there do. Let's just state those facts. You so quick to put a gas station, a McDonald's, and a Taco Bell in our doggone communities, and we don't even own them.
That's so wrong. When did it become wrong to be black? When did it? I was told as a child, you can never make it if you don't try. Well, I'm trying, but why does it seem like I'm not making it? Why it seem like I'm not making it, cuz? They told me, you ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna be shit. I believed it. I am somebody. I'm gonna be somebody that somebody's kids read about in the near future. Because when I stepped in that motherfucking ring, I meant what I said. No justice, no motherfucking peace. Fuck they think this is. This ain't no game. This ain't no motherfucking joke. When they start taking these lives of my people, man, that's enough for me, man. That's enough for me. You want to take a life, take this one, because I'm going to speak my voice regardless if you like it or not. They go for President Bosh, they go for Obama, they go for George Nixon, whoever. If you don't like me, kiss my entire ass. Because I'm going to stay on the front lines and kiss, and I'm going to make you give me my justice that I want. If you don't like it, guess what? LV. That's what I do.
We have an issue with education. We don't have the proper education in our communities. We have places where we cannot go get real food. You go to the corner store, you can get liquor, or you can get candy, but you can't get fresh produce. You know, we have all of these issues. We have homelessness. We have people that have mental health issues that are not being taken care of. We have so many issues in our communities, and if those things were taken care of, if that violence was taken care of in our communities, which was caused by systems, if those disparities, if that was taken care of first, and I can go with the idea of, I remember being hungry. I remember being hungry to the point to where not only did I not know where today's meal was coming from, I didn't know where tomorrow's or next week's meal was coming from. Not only mine, but my children. And I've graduated college. I'm a registered nurse. I was having a tough time finding a job due to some circumstances, but my children couldn't eat. And I remember thinking at that point, wow, what can I do to make some money to give my kids some food? And I'm a saved, sanctified, filled woman of God. But I had some thoughts. I had some thoughts about what I can do to feed my kids, you know, and then not only that, thinking about when my kids go to school, well, dog, you know, they going to school. They go to school, that's the only meal that they get, and then they giving them this free meal because I filled out the paperwork, they getting this free meal, but they didn't get to get breakfast because I didn't have money to make sure that they had breakfast because that wasn't part of at that school, that wasn't part of the food program, so they only had lunch, and then at a certain point, my son was coming home saying that the lunch program was giving them peanut butter and jelly. They wasn't getting the same food as the other kids, and it was just, you know, so I had that on my mind, plus they couldn't eat, I couldn't find a job, and my stomach was hurting, and so I knew whatever I got, I had to give to my children. So that made me violent in my head. It made me violent in my head, and then the bills coming in, I couldn't pay the gas bill, the electric bill, the phone bill. I couldn't, and I had to have a phone because I couldn't, that was the only way for us if we had an emergency or something. So and then I had to have a job call me if they wanted to try to hire me, so I had to keep the phone on. Then the rent was due, the rent was $1,200 a month, the rent was due. They repossessed my car. So to me, that's violence. That's where the violence stems from. If you took care of all of those things first, and this is the other thing, we are living out what our ancestors walked in then, just like white people are living out what their ancestors lived in. So no matter what you say, well, we came up poor, you know, you may be white and you may have come up poor, but there is a difference between what you're walking out and what we're walking out. So to me, that's violence.
He was the only person that I have heard to this point who can eloquently talk about Black Lives Matter and all the other inequities that we have been experiencing, whether it is intellectual violence, economic violence, housing, the lack of housing, any of that, the only person. So when I got a phone call and he wanted to come here and talk to people, I was very open to it because I believe that there should be dialogue everywhere. You know, I have nothing against Bernie Sanders, but Bernie is not in this room. I don't have anything against Hillary, but Hillary's not in this room. I don't have anything against O'Malley, but O'Malley is not in this room. This is your opportunity to speak real, because here's how I see it politically. You guys are sitting with someone who is on a national stage. And nobody else has done this to this point, okay? On the national stage, because everybody is afraid. You know how it is. Everybody is fronting. They think that putting Black Lives Matter in a sentence or a speech is enough. It is not enough to just say Black Lives Matter, and then that's the end of the day. Okay? It's not enough.
Is this something that we can build a relationship with you? Is this a one-time thing? Or are you willing to help sustain us as well as, like I said, keep a relationship with us? You know, maybe you do go to some places that some of us can go speak at with you and explain how we feel and things like that. Are you willing to help us?
Yeah, so absolutely. I hope this is the beginning of this relationship because I've been inspired by what I've seen here. What you and I talked about earlier on. What I've seen in what you've built, this is the most inspirational reaction to the most tragic story. And this is the beginning. And whether I'm a candidate for president or not, I want to keep this alive. I want to keep this relationship alive.
No more questions.